Business Studies, 12th class, Chapter 2. And Chapter 2 is all about the principles of management. It's really interesting chapter as well as the very important chapter. So in Chapter 2, we discussed about two important persons. That is, one is the Henry Fayol and the other one was, could you please tell me who was the other one? Henry Fayol and please tell me who was the other one? It's Saksham, it's not TW, it's FW Taylor. Good. FW Taylor. Both had contributed a lot in the field of management. और बहुत डिटेल में नहीं जाऊंगी आज मैं, कल मैंने पूरा चैप्टर बहुत डिटेल में कराया, रीजन बीइंग कि चैप्टर थोड़ा लेंथी है, तो हम थोड़ा शॉर्ट में करेंगे. So Henry Fayol, principles of management. So one marker, very important question, that is the define principles of management. So principles of management are broad and general guidelines. Always remember that management principles are never static. They are flexible. They are not providing us the direct solution. They are the general guidelines. General guidelines means which can be modified according to the depending on the situation and the need of the situation. So who was Henry Fayol? Anyone can tell me please? Anything about Henry Fayol? Yes, Henry Fayol was born in 1841 and his lifespan is till 1925. And he was born in France and he started with his career as a mining engineer in a French company. And at that time the company was bankrupt. I told you all these things. Yes, Henry Fayol was father of general management. Yes, also known as father of general management. Very good. So everyone know Henry Fayol now. So he is your friend now. So his contribution, the greatest contribution of Henry Fayol was the 14 principles of management, which are also used nowadays. In around in 19th century, he had given those principles, but those principles in 21st century also used by all the MNCs, not only in India, everywhere in all the countries of the world. Those principles are followed. So which the 14 principles? I'm telling you, initiative, fair remuneration, division of labor. So I'm giving you just one line explanation. In division of labor, the whole work is divided. In division of work, the whole labor work is divided into smaller units. Then each unit is assigned to the person who is capable of doing that particular part of the work to get the benefits of specialization. One person will be doing the same work again and again, and this will be giving him no doubt specialization. Benefits of efficiency will increase. Then authority and responsibility. Authority means right to give command, and responsibility means obligation to fulfill the given task. So authority and responsibility, there must be a parity. Parity means balance in between the authority and responsibility. Authority must not exceed the responsibility and vice versa. Otherwise, work assigned cannot be performed in a better way. This is all about authority and responsibility, and it should be balanced. And if authority is more and responsibility is less, it will lead to irresponsible behavior. And if vice versa case is there, then the manager may be ineffective. It means he is responsibility more and authority less. Then he will not be able to perform his given task. Then unity of command. Unity of command says that each worker should get the order from only one boss at a time. It means two boss cannot give him orders simultaneously. Means there must be one way. On that way we has to go. If there are two ways, then we must be confused that which way we have to take on. So similarly, there one boss must give the order to one subordinate at a time. At a time means only at suppose the employee is in front of two bosses, so any one boss can give him order. If the both bosses are giving him order simultaneously, then he will be confused whose order he has to follow first. So unity of direction, for this principle I had given you one line, one unit, one head, one plan. So how many of the number of the units are there in the organization? There must be a separate unit for each and everything, and that separate unit having the same objectives should be headed by only one person, and he should follow the only one plan. So this type of principle we can follow in the organization where different type of products are multi-product companies there, like a company is there which is making bikes, cars and trucks. So it may have three units, one unit for bike, one for car, one for truck, and each units will be separate from each other. There will be no interrelation, and each unit will be having its own planning and its own goals. This is known as unity of direction. One unit, one plan, one head. Then order. Principle of order says that each and everything, there should be a physical order and a material order. Physical order means right person at right place at right time, and material order means right things at right place at right time. So if things and persons are at their place, then there will be no problem. In there will be no problem, or there will be no wastage of time in searching those persons and those people or those things. Suppose we know where the first aid box is kept in our house. So if there is any mishappening with any family member, we can easily go and find out and bring the first aid box without wasting any time. But if there is no fixed place for placing the first aid box, in that case there will be problem. What problem? Suppose there is any mishappening and there is a very high degree of bleeding and we are not able to find out the first aid box. Why? Because there was no place fixed. So in that case there will be wastage of time and resources too. Discipline. In discipline, I told you three important lines. Discipline means obedience to the rules, following the rules and regulations. So discipline, I told you three lines. Good superiors at all levels. Yes, there must be good superiors at all levels. Then clear and fair agreements with workers. Superiors means bosses. There must be good bosses at all the levels. If bosses themselves are not disciplined, then it will be very difficult to keep their team in discipline. So it is very much important that the organization must have the good superiors at all the levels. Second point, clear and fair agreements. This is a very much important point. Whatever the agreements, whatever the promises the management is doing with the employees, there must be clear. It means there must not be any confusion, as well as fair agreement means whatever the management has told to the whatever the management has promised to the employees, that must fulfill their promises. Otherwise there must be the indiscipline among the employees. There may be lockouts or strikes, etc. Then sanctions are judicially applied. So if any person in the organization is this third statement you can write, if sanctions are not clear to you, fines and penalties. Judicious use of fines and penalties. So if any person is found who is not following the organization's rules and regulations, then definitely an action should be taken against that person. There must be fines and penalties so that the rule breakers should know how to follow the rules, and if they are not following the rules, then what can happen to them? They must have to follow the fines and penalties. Next principle, which is initiative. Initiative means taking first step. I told you the meaning of initiative, which means taking first step, moving ahead. It means if something is going wrong anywhere, then all are passing from there and no one is taking step. It means no one is taking initiative. Initiative का मतलब होता है पहल करना, taking first step. So similarly, in organization, the employees should be encouraged to give their suggestions, to give their initiatives, so that the better plans could be made out. So management should provide opportunity to its employees to give their suggestions. Like suggestion boxes should be kept here and there in everywhere in the organization. And whenever any employee is giving suggestion, then the management should not scold them. Their suggestion should be listened, and if they are giving good suggestions, then they must be awarded for their suggestions. Next principle is remuneration. Yes, Shubhangi, I am coming to this principle. Beta, wait for 5 minutes. So remuneration. In remuneration principle, we studied that remuneration should be fair with the efforts of the made by the employees. Fair means the adequate salary should be paid to the employees. It may be not there that the employees are doing more work and you are not giving a reasonable salary to the employees. that they are not able to just fulfill their basic needs. So the remuneration must be fair. And the second thing, it must be paid on time. Paid on time means in the beginning of each month. If the employees are not paid salary, then it will be very difficult for them to earn bread for their families. And one more thing, while paying the remuneration, the organization should keep in mind one more thing, that remuneration must be within the paying capacity of that particular organization. Okay, and that can be determined on the basis of the cost of living, work assigned, etc. And not only the in remuneration, the employees are not only working for the salary only, for the basic salary. There must be provisions for the other benefits such as free education, medical, and residential facilities to the workers. If the management is providing them fair remuneration on time, kind and just remuneration on time, then there must be definitely a good relationship and the pleasant working environment in the organization, and even the employees will be ready to give their 100%. Okay, so the next principle here is stability of tenure of personnel. So this stability of tenure means, suppose you are appointed as a manager in some of the organization. So you have just started doing work, so it will take time to understand the work situation there and atmosphere there, and it will also take the time to understand the people, to understand the colleagues with whom you have to work. So it will take time always. So if you have just done work for 1 month there, and after 1 month you were transferred to some other branch. So you were just adjusted there. You have just understood the people behavior and the people attitudes in that organization with whom you have to work. So जैसे ही आपने उनको समझा, you were transferred to some other place. So again, you have to start with zero. So stability of tenure principle says that whenever an employee has been posted at one place, then adequate time should be given to him to settle on that particular place so that he can give his 100%. If we have just posted him and transfers are there very frequently, we are doing transfers of the employees, and so in that case they will not be able to give their 100% and to show their talents, because for showing the talents time period stability is required. So the time period or the duration of the employees should be stable, so that time period and the duration of the employee should be stable, so that they are not so one line is important here, that the employees should not be very frequently transferred or moved from one place to another place, from one job position to another job position. Adequate time should be given to them to just settle down on their job and uh, to show their best efforts. Okay, so if, and one more thing will be there, if in your organization employees job is not safe, no, not secure, then they will be not loyal to your organization, as well as they will be always in search of a new job. And moreover, whenever you are employing the or appointing the employees, so again and again you have to waste money on training, because every time you have to provide the basic training to the workers, so all the money spent on training the worker will go waste. So if stability of job is there, it will create a sense of belongingness among the workers. Belongingness means they will create a feeling of love with the organization where they are working, because they know it very well that their job is safe, their job is secure, so they will be giving their best. Yes, Shubhangi, is it clear now? Tell me, Shubhangi, is it clear now? Next, scalar chain. Scalar chain, it's a very important principle, my dear students, and normally in all offices, in all organizations, it is followed. Scalar chain is a chain of, scalar chain is also known as management hierarchy. Management hierarchy means chain of employees and employer. We all know that there is a chain of superior and subordinate relationship. In the organization, all the employees, group of people is working, and that group has had been assigned their roles. Some are the superiors and some are the subordinates. So there is a chain in between the superior, like we have done the three levels in the previous chapter: top level, middle level, lower level. So many employees will be working at top level, then middle level, then many will be working at lower level. So there is a chain of hierarchy, middle level, top level. So the level which is having the highest authority, is known as top level. So top level is the boss to the middle level, and middle level is the boss to the, and under in these levels there are different, like board of director is the boss to the general manager, and general manager is the boss to the production manager. So this is a line. There is always a line in between a superior and subordinate. This line is known as scalar chain, and each person in this chain is known as the key to the chain. And whenever in any organization it is supposed that this chain is to be followed, skipping of this chain is not allowed in any of the situation. So if board of directors want to communicate anything to the workers, then they are not directly going to the workers, they are telling this thing to the general manager. General manager is telling to the production manager, production manager is telling to the supervisor who is working at the lower level, then supervisor is further telling it to the worker. Similarly, if the workers has any grievance, any problem, any feedback, then in the same manner the feedback will be forwarded to the top level. So it means for any day to day communication, for any reporting, for any policy, for any rule, if it's to be communicated, then this chain is to be followed. So but Paul suggested a shorter route. Sometime the message which is to be forwarded is very important, and we cannot follow this long chain. If we are following this chain, so in that case there may be late delivery of that message, and at that time the message will be of no use. So what can be done in that case if the message is very urgent? So we can take the shorter route. Shorter route given by the FAOL is known as gangplank. It is a shorter route or shorter path which can be taken by the employees working at two levels, by the employees, two employees working at the two same levels. And the message to be communicated is very urgent and very important. So at that time, they both can directly communicate with each other. Like one employee is working in a production department and other employee is working in the marketing department. So they both want to communicate. So if they are following the route, then they are going to tell to first their supervisor, then they are going to tell to the executive manager, then the manager, then that manager will be telling it to the marketing manager. So it will take time. So what they can do, if the information is very important relating to work only, so they can communicate. They both are working at the same level in two different departments, so they both can contact with each other to pass that urgent information, and that route which they are taking to pass that information is known as gangplank. But remember that this route can be taken only when the information is to be passed is very important and very urgent. Not for regular communication, this route can be taken. Yes, Parth and Siddharth, Siddharth, you have entered right now, 5 minutes before. Please give me your reasons why you have entered late. Yes, give me your reasons in chat box. Yes, next principle is subordination of individual interest. Within 1 minute, I must get your reasons, otherwise I am going to remove you from class. Subordination of individual interest. Uh, Subordination of individual interest means the employees are working in the organization. Okay, Siddharth, I have received your answer. What about Parth Pancharia? So subordination of individual interest means the employees are working in the organization for their own interest, and the organization is working for their own interest. So two groups are there, employer group and employee group, and there may be a problem in between the employer and the employees. So employees want to get more salary, and the employer want to give lesser salary and to take more work. Sometime, so there must be a balance in between both the objectives, employee and employer, both the interests, there must be balance. But if any time there is any clash in between the employer and the employee, in between the employer and the employee group, so in that case, individual interest should be sacrificed for the sake of organizational interest. It means whenever there is any clash in between the individual interest and the organizational interest, so in that case, individual interest should be sacrificed for the sake of uh, organizational interest. Means organizational interest supersede individual interest. Okay, students. So this is known as subordination of individual interest to general interest. So in order to achieve this attitude, the employee should be honest and sincere, proper and regular supervision of work, reconciliation of mutual differences. It means if there is any mutual difference in between the employer and employee, they must be balanced. They must be removed out. Okay. Next, Esprit De Corps. Esprit De Corps means the principle of union is strength. Team. This principle is related with the team efforts. The spelling of team is TEAM, which means T for together, E for everyone, A for achieves, M for more. It means together everyone achieves more. It means whenever the people who are working in a group, they are working as a team, so definitely they are going to achieve the organizational goal without any problem. You can see that in this picture. Suppose it refers to team spirit. Team spirit means group has to work together. There must not be individual clashes among the employees, and a manager should replace all in his words that I to we. He should not use the word I, because alone himself he cannot perform all the tasks. So for everything he should use the word we. So we will inculcate the feeling of team spirit among all the, like, I have to do this. No, we have to do this. It's a team effort. Without the cooperation of the employees, no objective can be achieved. So there must be, employees should be rewarded. It is also a team effort. If the organization has got some more profits, then they must be shared with the employees. So employees should be awarded. Proper coordination should be there. Team spirit will also create the belongingness, sense of belongingness among the employees. Okay. So here second last is centralization or decentralization. Centralization means concentration of authority. Decision making authority is only with the top management. And decentralization means decision making authority is dispersed or distributed from the top level to the lower level. It means decisions are taken at the all levels. Top level is taking all the important decision, middle level is taking decisions relating to their department, and lower level is taking decisions to their day-to-day work related decisions, we can see. So centralization means all the decisions are taken by the top level only, other levels are just to implement those decisions. And decentralization means decisions are taken by all, not only by the top level, decisions are taken by all. So if the organization is centralized, then there may be delay in decision making, and for others work may be monotonous. Why? Because they will be not having any chance to show their talent, to show their creativity skills, because they are not taking any decision, they are just following them. So an organization should not be completely centralized and completely decentralized. This is told by Peol, that if the organization is very small, so in that case, organization can be centralized because very few number of people are there, and organization is very small scale, so only one person can take all the decisions. But as the organization size increases, as it grows, it diversifies. In that case, it will be not possible for any of the organization to be centralized. So in that case, each and every organization must be decentralized. Now, one thing is important here, that can a organization be completely centralized or completely decentralized? Then definitely the answer is no. Not even a small scale organization can be completely centralized. So and any organization should follow the policy of mixture of both centralization and decentralization. Like the important decisions which can be taken only by the top management can be centralized, and all the regular day to day decision, departmental decisions can be decentralized. So one more thing is said about centralization and decentralization, that is any effort by the organization which increases the role of the subordinates is decentralization. And any effort or any decision which decreases the role of subordinate is centralization. It means whenever we are giving decision making authority to the employees, definitely it will be increasing the role. Role here means the importance of the subordinate in the organization. So he will feel highly motivated that I am taking the important decisions. of the organization. Okay, so Payol's definition of management, we have already done this. So this is the complete about the Payol. Now Taylor, I am telling you verbally. Okay, so Taylor had given us 4 principles. Within next 10 minutes, I am going to explain the whole thing about the Taylor. So Taylor had given us 4 principles. Taylor has given the concept of scientific management. Basically, scientific management means use of science while doing the management. Use of science while doing the management. So Taylor had given us 2 things: principles of scientific management as well as the techniques of scientific management. Principles, 4 principles. So scientific management means the application of science to the management. As the name implies, scientific management. So in this management, in scientific management, nothing is done on random basis or on the basis of your wish, manager wish or intuitions. Everything is based on science. If we are taking any decision, the manager is taking any decision, that is a scientific decision. By just finding the cause and effect relationship of each and every decision by using the best methods, he is taking the decision. So 4 principles are given by Taylor. First principle was science, not the rule of thumb. Second, harmony, not discord. Third, cooperation, not individualism. Fourth, is the development of each and every employee at his or her greatest efficiency. So, just by in one line, I am going to explain. So, science, not the rule of thumb, means there is always a best method for doing each and everything, and the manager should try to find out that best method. He should not use the hit or miss, trial or error method. And how he can find that best method? By using the science, by conducting the scientific experiments, or by doing the his rational judgment, or by using his mental abilities. Means that method should not be selected on the basis of randomly, और we can say on the basis of intuitions, like he is having 4 methods और उसका दिल बोल रहा है कि method A अच्छा है and he has selected method A. No, it means he has used his wish or his intuitions. He has to check all the 4 methods. He has to find out all the pros and cons of all the methods, and then the method which in which he is having least negative points and most positive points should be selected. This is all about the science, not the rule of thumb. So best method should be there. Rule of thumb means following the same practices which we were following in the past years. We are not using our innovative and creative skills, not using the science here. So from the past 10 years or 20 years, we are following one method, and the same year also we are going to follow this method. Then harmony, not discord. Harmony means good relations, discord means clashes. So there must be harmony, good relation in between the employees and the employers. So management should share the gains of the company with worker. One line I had given you in this principle: management should share the gains of the company with worker. And in this principle, mental revolution, concept of mental revolution was also introduced by, because there is always a bad relation with the employees and employer. So these bad relation can be rectified only by changing the mental attitude of the employees and the workers towards each other. And change in the mental attitude is known as bringing a mental revolution. Third principle is cooperation, not individualism. So this is the principle which is the extension of, this is the principle which is the extension of principle of harmony, not discord, because cooperation can be there only when there is harmony. Harmony means good relation. If you are not having a good relation with any person, then there must not be any cooperation with that person. So cooperation means there must be a cooperation in between the labor and the management, employees and the management. They should not consider each other as their rivals, as their competitors. They should consider they both are the important to each other. They both are the complementary to each other. And in this principle, Taylor also talked about the suggestions. So the management should not close its ears towards the employee's suggestion. If employees are giving good suggestions, then they must be rewarded. In principle of initiative, Payol also talked about the suggestion, and here in principle of cooperation, uh, Taylor also talked about the suggestions. Okay, and one more thing I told you, that employees should take care, open communication system should be there. And if in this principle, one this line is the, yeah, yes Mitali, discord means bad relation, conflicts. So open communication system should be there. Open communication system, it will be there, then there will be no problems. with the employees, and there will be no need of trade unions. Trade unions are needed only when the management is not open with the employees. So if the employees are having any problem, they are just discussing their problem with the trade union. So if this principle is followed in proper manner, then there will be no need of trade unions. Then the last principle is development of each and every person to his or her greatest efficiency. Management should give a chance to each and every person for the developing. So for this, at the time of selection, this process should be started. Selection should be done scientifically. It means the post which for which we are going to select a person must match the with the qualification of that person which is going to be selected, as well as proper chances should be given for the training and development to each and every person. Because if the employees will be trained, then they will be able to give their 100% to the organization, and there will be no wastage of the resources, and it will bring prosperity in the organization. So if the organization is getting good profits, organization is prosperous, then definitely the employees will be prosperous. It will be bringing prosperity for the employees too. Okay, the next is the last topic is the techniques of the scientific management. So in techniques, the most important technique was the functional foremanship. Time is very less, so I'm covering all the topics in a very short manner. So in functional foremanship, it is the technique which is identified by the extension of principle of division. And which principle is violated by this technique is the unity of command. These two can be the very important one marker question. Functional foremanship is the extension of division of work, and it violates the unity of command. 8 foremans I told you in this technique. 8 foremans are there: planning in charge, production in charge. Taylor believed that the one person cannot perform whole of the task, so he divided the task in two parts: planning work and execution work. Under them, he appointed 8 foremen. Name I am telling you: instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, disciplinarian. Then speed boss, gang boss, repair boss, and inspector. Second was the standardization and simplification. In this technique, standardization means the process of setting standards. In this technique, Taylor told that there must be standards for each and everything from A to Z, all things, whether it is the standard time, standard target, standard machines, standard quality of the raw material, each and everything should be standardized to bring uniformity in the production. Then simplification means elimination of the unnecessary diversities. If we are making many diversified products and those products are not in demand more, so better to eliminate those products from your product line rather to continue with them. क्योंकि जितने ज्यादा प्रोडक्ट्स होंगे आपके लिए हैंडल करना मुश्किल होगा. अगर आप 10 प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं और डिमांड सिर्फ 2 की ही आ रही है, 8 की ज्यादा डिमांड है ही नहीं, तो बेटर है उन 8 प्रोडक्ट्स को धीरे धीरे करके एक एक करके मार्केट से हटा दिया जाए. Work study is the most important technique. In that technique, 4 study he conducted: method study, motion study, time study, and fatigue study. Method study, again finding out the best method. Then in motion study, eliminate the unproductive motions and give encouragement to the productive motions. Then time study, finding out the standard time to be taken by a worker to perform the given task. And time study is the study in which the volume and frequency of the task, cycle time of the operation, and the measurement cost are determined. Then the fatigue study, and I told you that in this study, whenever we are doing work, then we may have tiredness, mental tiredness and physical tiredness. So we will not be able to continue with the same stamina with which we started the work. So to regain the lost stamina, what is required? Intervals, rest intervals are required. So in this study, it is find out that how many of the rest intervals should be given to the employees, and what should be the duration of each rest interval, and what should be the frequency of the rest interval, and what should be the difference in between two intervals. Last technique was the differential piece wage rate system, in which in this technique two wage rate were decided: higher wage rate, lower wage rate. Higher was for the efficient worker and lower for the inefficient worker. Who are the efficient? The workers who have completed their target on time. They were the efficient. So efficient were given more wage rate and inefficients were given less wage rate.